Hello, and welcome back to SIBO Mistakes. This is the series where I talk about the biggest mistakes SIBO sufferers are making, and they're keeping you stuck. Stuck with unwanted symptoms like bloating, abdominal pain, distension, cramping, nausea, diarrhea, and constipation. If you want to be rid of those symptoms anytime in the near future, I really hope you'll watch this entire playlist. Now, today's SIBO mistake might be a little bit hard to hear, but I'm going to ask you to listen to me, hear me out, and not shoot the messenger on this one. You're hyper, and you need to calm down. And no, I don't mean sugar crazed child at a birthday party hyper. I mean hypervigilant. Hypervigilance is something that I see very, very, very commonly, especially in the SIBO community, and it's part of what's going to keep you stuck. So there's a couple things that go along here. So hypervigilance is basically that constant paying attention to your body, constantly scanning, constantly looking for something that's gone awry, looking for bad things. And here's the thing, if you look for them, you will find them more frequently, either because they're genuinely there and you otherwise wouldn't have paid attention to them, or because it's a psychosomatic thing and your nervous system is creating it for you. Now, again, I know this is not a welcome message, but I've lived it myself. I speak from personal experience that the gut-brain axis is that powerful. If you haven't heard my coconut yogurt story and how that rocked my world, check it out. I'll try to remember to link it down in the description down below. I am living proof that the brain can make symptoms just because the brain anticipated that they would be there. And see, that's the problem with hypervigilance. As you go through this journey and you have medically induced PTSD and you become obsessed and orthorexic over your condition, you start to look for stuff more often. You start to hunt for those little twinges and that little bubble of bloating and that little thing that might be a tumor. Oh my God. And it's creating this loop, and it's really hard to dig out of that loop unless you're aware that it exists. You're anxious, you're scared, you're miserable, you want to feel better. I get that. And so you start paying attention to your body more and you start observing things more. And then you start observing more and you start feeling these things more. And it becomes a loop. I'm not saying that all of your problems will go away if you just ignore it and move on. And I'm not saying that it's all in your head, but I'm saying the stuff in your head does matter. And we need to be aware of the connection between increased anxiety and hypervigilance and decreased vagal tone. You see, the vagus nerve, the gut-brain axis, is the thing that ultimately controls your gut. Your gut doesn't do much of anything without being told to do so by the vagus nerve. So whether you want to heal the stomach lining or the intestinal lining, make stomach acid, bile, or enzymes, promote motility in the migrating motor complex, or decrease inflammation in these tissues, all of that is largely dictated by your vagus nerve. So we should very much care about vagal tone as part of this healing journey. And here's the thing. Hypervigilance and anxiety turn off the vagus nerve. They put you into a state of fight or flight. They put you in that state of fearing for your life and running from the saber-toothed tiger. And they keep you stuck there. The nervous system operates on a seesaw, particularly this part of the nervous system. You can have one or the other. You can either be in rest and digest and you have turned off fight or flight, or the opposite. You could be in fight or flight mode and turn off the rest and digest vagus nerve. And a lot of you, as a consequence of the journey you have been on, are stuck in fight or flight mode. And you're stuck in this loop of hypervigilance and anxiety and stress and medically induced PTSD. It's not an easy solution. I wish that I could just tell you to take lavender essential oil capsules and all of the hypervigilance would go away. But this is something to draw your attention to. And it's one of the main things I see hold people back. Whether you tackle this in something like talk therapy or cognitive behavioral therapy or EMDR, or maybe you take some supplements for your nervous system and your adrenals. Hell, maybe you do psychedelics. I don't know. You do you, man. Whatever it might be, you need to work on your vagal tone and your nervous system, and you need to find the little bits of joy and wonder in your life despite it all. And in doing so, you will create what researchers call an upward spiral, and you will tone that vagus nerve and you'll start to pull yourself out of this rut. But again, the first step in that is the awareness of what's happened. So appreciate the medically induced PTSD that you have gone through and appreciate that that is now a part of your story. And now do something with it. And look, I get it. It is no small feat to build yourself a SIBO-proof body, particularly if you've been suffering for a prolonged period of time, like years or heaven forbid, decades. And it's really hard to coach yourself. This is the reason why every doctor on planet Earth goes to a different doctor for their medical care. It is really hard to be totally objective about your situation and your bag of bullshit and make good, rational decisions from that. If you don't have the expertise and the knowledge to do so, but also because all of us, myself included, tend to have blinders on when it comes to certain things. So while I hope that this video series helps people on YouTube and that's all they need to get better, I do offer coaching for those of you who need a little bit more help and a little bit more fine tuning from me. If you didn't know already, I have a group coaching program called FODMAP Freedom in 90 days. And it is truly unlike anything else you're going to encounter on the internet. There's a lot of opportunity for feedback and support and coaching from myself and my nutritionist. And everybody that wants individual attention can get individual attention and time with me and questions asked. If you are wanting a little bit more support in this journey, you want somebody who could be more objective about your situation and give you real actionable advice and make this a digestible experience, pun totally intended, I would encourage you to check out FODMAP Freedom, join the waitlist, and come join our next enrollment. I really think that this is going to make the difference between being SIBO stuck and being SIBO free.